think today I want to make that video and give you a little explanation on how I kind of understand um, the many words of illusion. And I think how I want to start that message is with a question. It's kind of the sum of the whole entire message, but I'm going to start it out that anyways. Here it goes. Is an illusion any different than one's own reality? And now, the word illusion, it could be interchangeable with delusions, fantasy, fairy tale, imagination, even. Um, but the point of this message is to kind of show people that there's not really any difference. These words that we use, yeah, we can create different meanings for them, but overall, my understanding of illusion and it being interchangeable with reality, it's there's just no difference between the two. And I'm going to try to prove that in this message. Um, because there's a lot of people out there that may be, there's people out there that may be being called delusional. They may be called, they live in a fantasy world. They're not attached to reality. Well, I'm here to tell you that these fantasy worlds, these illusions, they're all realities. This world can be anything we want it to be. We can create this world to be a fantasy world. We can create fictitious entities and make this world into a fantasy world if we truly wanted to. It wouldn't be that hard at all. It would just be a matter of everyone coming together in that sense. That's really where that's where the difficulty lies, which is it's difficult to get everyone to do that, I mean, you'd almost have to be a movie actor to have this type of mentality. Because this is what they do. They go on, they make multiple different movies and they take on different characters. They become different people. It's an amazing thing. The mind is an amazing thing. And it allows anything's possible when it comes to the mind. Here's another question that I've asked myself over the many years. Isn't it? Let's see. Here it goes. Is an illusion a misconception of one's own reality, or is reality the misconception of one's own illusion? I think it's both ways. I think if you live in an illusion, then the reality is going to be the misconception of that. And if you live in a reality, then an illusion is going to be the misconception of that. So, although this experience is what we call our reality, and we choose to sit here and create stories such as fantasies and fairy tales to try to some of us maybe escape in reality. Some of us, really, I think that's really all it is. We kind of just escape this so-called reality, and we're joining a world of possibilities. I've written some definitions down here, and I'm going to start with delusion. And, delusion is obviously, a belief or an altered reality. It's what a person believes that what his true reality is. They say that they're not agreeing with how reality is, and they have a certain type of how it should be, maybe. And maybe that's a little off there. I could work on that probably a little more. which is all right. I'm here to grow, so. But an illusion, that's nothing more than a distorted reality. A fantasy, it's the power to process. It's the power or process of creating, especially unrealistic or improbable mental images in response to psychological need. So it's mental images or series of mental images. Your fairy tale, your fairy tales can be merged into legends. That's right. Legends are perceived as real. A lot of people out there, that they believe in Zeus, the god, and Aphrodite's, and but these fairy tales, these fairy tales may have trolls and elves and griffins and etc. And they're used to describe these once upon a time scenarios. We use these words to create a story with happy endings and romance. But regardless of the characters we use to create this story, we choose to add these happy endings and romance to every fairy tale. These fairy tales can be realities without the elves and the griffins. But I'm going to twist it up on you and see what you think about this. But this reality does not have to have fictitious entities. Therefore, it does not have to have happy endings or romance. Let's see. Let me repeat that one more time, because I think I butchered it like I did my own personal saying the other day, which I will get back to that later on. Let's see here. Where are we? All right. Now, these realities do not have fictitious entities. It's me and you. We have dogs and cats and birds and technology. And you might as well just replace that with your elves, and your trolls and your griffins and your many fictitious characters that are in these fairy tale worlds. I mean, that's pretty much all they're doing anyways, They're just replacing us with elves and trolls. But we still have the morals in there. We still have the I love yous, the happy endings, the romance that we all want. So if this reality does not have those fictitious entities, then it doesn't have happy endings or romance, which is what separates reality from fairy tales. Now I know I said that last part, and it sounds like maybe I'm contradicting myself, right? But I'm not contradicting myself. It's almost, I'm using it kind of as a sarcasm way. Because I don't see a difference between any of it. All I see is imagination. Someone who may be called delusional. I just see someone that may have a great imagination. I see someone who doesn't limit himself to his reality. I see someone who's trying to grow in certain ways that maybe this reality doesn't allow him to grow. Just the way I see illusions. It's nothing more than a distorted reality. It's still reality, it's just distorted. I don't know. I'll try to better explain that later on. The main message of this is just to kind of prove that there is no difference. All these words to describe other dimensions, maybe, that maybe they can be considered other dimensions. And maybe somewhere out there, maybe in in another dimension, there is a fantasy world. There is a fairy tale world. You know, who am I to say there's not? You know, I've never been there. I can't sit there and say that I've been there and or I haven't been there and that is true or not true. All I can say is, you know, this is my reality, and I know I have an imagination. I know that I can use that to create a fantasy world. I know I can use that to create a fairy tale world. I know I can use that to be an illusionist. I know I can use that to be a delusional being. It's all a matter of perception. You know, and perception is nothing more than the ability to see or hear or become aware of something through the senses. You know, so we have that ability. That perception allows us to be able to create these realities, these fairy tale worlds, these fantasies, these delusions. But I think, and also what plays a part in that perception is our imagination. And which imagination is the faculty or action of forming new ideas, images, or concepts of external objects not present to the senses, the ability, but obviously it's the ability of the mind. That's basically what the imagination is. It's the ability to be able to create something imaginary in your mind. But you can bring the things that are in your mind into your reality. Just like people have done with the fairy tales and the fantasy worlds that we create for little kids to watch. They've started in their mind. They've seen these things in their mind. And they've created them and they've put them on books and they've put them in movies. That right there is making a fairy tale and a fantasy part of our reality. You know, people say, "Oh, you live in a fantasy world. You live in unicorns and rainbows. You live with unicorns and rainbows." Well, honestly, people, you know, we make television shows that have unicorns. You know, yeah, they may be cartoonish, and yeah, we can make. We have computer generated technology that can make a unicorn look real. You know, oh man, my mom used to even have pictures of unicorns hanging up in her room. You know, so you know those are, although it's just a picture and maybe it's just a TV show, it's part of our reality. Now the rainbows, that's, you know, we can go outside and see though. It can rain and we can see a rainbow. You know, so you're sitting there saying, you know, this person may be living in a fantasy world. All you have to do, so are you. You're living in a fantasy world. That's exactly what this reality is. You know, some people may even call this reality a hell. Is that a fantasy world? Or is that a reality? Because it can be both. Now, I'm not saying that hell is an actual place where the devil rules underneath us and takes us if we make bad choices. That's not what I'm saying about hell. But we can live a hell-like experience in this reality. And that's through a fantasy, a fairy tale. In reality. You know, so it's your perception, it's your imagination. Don't use that imagination. Use those fairy tales, those fantasy worlds that you create. You know, people want to sit there and they want to make fun of you for it. Use it. Create a story. Make something. Use our morals. Put a happy ending in it. Create something. Make some money off of it. Don't just let people say you're delusional and just accept that as something negative. Accept it as something negative and turn it into something positive. How about that? So create a delusional world. Who cares? This is a free country. Make a story. Make some money off that sucker. Because you can. I promise you. People will read it. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. You know, we're too amazing to be limited, man. I understand that we have the ability, and that's what makes it more amazing is that we have the ability to limit ourselves. So, we can create this reality to be anything. It's whatever we want to make it. If we want to turn it into a fantasy world, if we want to turn it into a fairy tale world, if it's whatever. It can be anything we want it to be. It's really just a matter of everyone coming together. This could be a happy place. We could actually have families who care about each other, and we could actually have families who aren't struggling, in life. We could actually help people not to struggle instead of, oh, you have to do that on your own. You don't have to do it on your own. If you had to do it on your own, there would only be you in this world. There's millions of people in this world that are having the same struggles you are having on an everyday basis. We've got to stop limiting ourselves. And by saying that this person has to do it on their own, is you limiting yourself. Because I don't accept that. Because I want to be the kind of person that goes out and helps. Yeah, we can do it on our own. We're strong enough to do that. We have that ability. But not everyone understands that. And it's for the people that out there that do, it's for us to go out there and explain that to them and show them that, yeah, you could do it on your own, but hey, man, come over here. I got something for you. You know what you've been missing? Shh, it's right here in my bag. Forget that loneliness, man. There's too many people in this world to be lonely. It's not just you in this world. It's me. I'm here. And I'm one of those people who don't like to ask for help. It's not that I'm too proud. It's because we all have that. We want to do it ourselves. We want to go out and make our own. We want to have our own. But you know what? It's really hard to do when there's so many people in this world that want that same thing. But it's possible. It's just the mentality behind it that says you have to go out there and get that yourself. No, you don't. There's too many people in this world that show the difference in that. All the people in this world show that there's help out there. All you have to do is ask for it. The Bible says, give unto me and I give unto you. That's how a true reality works. That's how a true fantasy world works. That's how a true fairy tale works. It's those happy endings that we all look for in life. And these fairy tale worlds do a great job in showing those happy endings. They give us something to look forward to. They give kids something to be happy about. And if we understand that that makes people happy, why not implement it in our reality than more than just a story on a piece of paper? Why not implement it in our reality as something more than just a word to say how stupid someone is? Which, like I've said, I don't agree with stupidity, and which I'll get into that. I'll get into why I think that stupid is just something that we create to just be evil, pretty much, to be a bad person, really. And which that's your right, hey, to each their own. You want to be a bad person? You want people to not like you? Go for it, man. That's on you, dude. Dudette, whatever you are. I don't choose to be like that. I'd rather have people, kind of respect me, and I understand that the only way to get that respect is to give it. Oh, did I say give it? Oh, I did say give it, didn't I? Yeah, you got to give to get, don't you? Man, those teachings are strong. really strong. But who really hears that? We'll see. I'm going to try to keep this message about 20 minutes. So, if this message worked in any way, if it helped you, if it showed you something new, if it made you say, oh, well, man, I really never looked at it like that. Like, share, subscribe. Hate on me, love me, you know the drill. Until next time, thanks for your time.